great. I love that. I am truly grateful to be able to be here this morning. And last night I was out till 3:30 up to 4 in the morning. I was roller skating because that's what I do. I was in a skate contest and I lost. But I'm grateful that I lost. I lost to a guy that only had 2 wheels, which is kind of weird. But that's a whole different thing. Anyway, my message today, because Pastor Ben always likes to have titles to messages, is, well, the actual title of this message is What Grace Means to Me, or to you, whoever, right?
Yeah.
What the title of the message was supposed to be, as I asked Pastor Nicole Davis to give me a topic, was why grace matters.
Oh, wow.
And simply put, grace matters because if we didn't have it, we would all be taking our place and burned in the lake of fire.
Amen. Amen.
Right?
That's right.
So that was too easy. Maybe I wasn't going to let me get off with that easy, so I had to do some extra studying. Anyway, that was good though. I like that. Now, I'm not the sharpest knife in the drawer, so some stuff takes me a little bit to get, right? So I'm going through this message. Now, I gotta put a little backstory of why I'm here today. Today I'm here speaking at my request because I knew that I was going to be doing that skate contest last night. Now, I was kind of trying to trick myself into believing that skating wasn't my God, right?
Wow.
I mean, don't get me wrong, I know who God is, and I worship God.
Right.
I don't worship skating, but I spend a lot of time, if I can, skating.
Amen. Right.
Which then ultimately takes away from the time that I can be getting to know God better.
Wow. Amen.
So I acknowledge that I have shortcomings.
Amen. Wow. Amen.
But that's the beauty of this message. We have grace. Now, when I was going through this, I looked up the word grace in the Strong's Concordance, found out that in the King James Version, it appears 100 and... I got 2 various numbers. One was online and one was through the actual book when I counted. But I got between 167 and 170 times, right? Now, when I look in the Strong's, the word grace is used so many times, but there's 4 different types of grace that it refers to when it goes back to the Greek word and the Hebrew word. Now, I'm saying that because I've been at the church for a minute. Pastor Sandy always wants to go above and beyond, trying to teach us. Like I said, I'm not the sharpest knife in the drawer. It's going to take me a little bit longer. Anyway, I learned that. And when I looked up the word grace in the Webster's Dictionary, it is defined as, I kind of blew it already. I asked some members of the congregation to give me what grace means to them, since that's what the topic is really about, right? I'm not gonna give no names, I'm just gonna read some of the entry that I got. One person responded, God, through his son Jesus, gives us chance after chance to get it right. It says in the Bible, God's grace is sufficient, right? And this is great to understand that we get not a continuous do-over, but we get an opportunity to get it right and repeat it when we come up short, right? Another person responded with, grace means salvation. To know I did not deserve God's gift, yet he so lovingly bestowed them on me is grace. Christ is grace. Couldn't argue with that. I like that answer. Now, when I look it up in the Webster's Dictionary, grace can be used in two forms. It can be a noun or it can be a verb. I'm going to talk about it being a noun, because that's how I see grace. It's a gift, right? It's, by Webster's definition, an unmerited divine assistance given to humans for their regeneration and sanctification. That's the first portion. And there's another portion that reads, a virtue coming from God. And there's another one that states, a state of sanctification enjoyed through divine assistance. Now, it should be noted that grace is a gift.
Yes.
It is not something that you can earn.
Right.
It is a gift. And this means that if someone over here is doing all they can to please God with works after works after works, that person is no more entitled to grace than the individual that just meets Christ for the first time.
Amen. Amen.
And even after he meets Christ, decides he doesn't really want to do anything. He's got his shell. Now, we all got to be delivered from something.
Right.
Right? But they're both equally entitled to the same amount of grace. That's important to know, because some people might think they're not in the right position to receive God's grace. And the devil will play on all of that.
Yeah.
You can't let the devil wind his way into your thinking, because it'll mess you up forever. All right? Now, really what God's gift, what grace really is the opportunity to enter into the kingdom of heaven. It's an opportunity. Yeah. It's like we get junk mail that says you've been pre-selected versus pre-approved. Now, if we were pre-approved, it'd be an instant get-in free ticket, right?
Right.
Right now, it's really, we've been pre-selected, which means you still got to go through some hoops and stuff to actually receive. Now, don't get me wrong. Grace from when Christ was on the cross and taking all the sin upon him so that we have an opportunity.
Right.
It's freely given to us.
Amen.
But before we can cash in and collect, we got some prerequisites we got to deal with. Right? First and foremost, what you got to do? You got to accept Christ as your Lord and Savior. If you don't do that, everything else is you. Right? Then you get into some finer print, which is real tricky. But we'll talk about that later, because that's different discussion, right? We're talking about grace right now. Okay? Now, according to the New Living Translation, okay, let me back up a bit. Like I said, grace is our chance to do over, right? Yeah. Okay? But we shouldn't confuse that with I get a free pass to do wrong. Right. Because God will not be mocked. Amen. Okay? According to Romans 6:1, y'all will like me because I'll make y'all right on the bush. It says, according to the New Living Translation, well then, should we keep on sinning so that God can show us more and more of his wonderful grace? You can do that, and yeah, you'll still receive it. But that's not the whole, you're kind of missing the point. Your grace is going to run out of something. Yes. I'm going to get you some, let me come back to this in just a second. I'm going to read some more of the definitions. When we talk about grace, a portion of the definition as defined by Webster's is, it's a temporary exemption. And this is important to know. It's hard for us to fully grasp the concept of it just being temporary. Now, we here at S4C, we are in today's church. We know the end time is here, right? Amen. Most of the world doesn't. Most of the world doesn't care, which is a whole different problem. And it's easy to fall into the mindset of not really feeling like you're in the end of times, and that grace isn't a set time. Because for all of us in this room, and all of y'all watching on the internet, whatever, grace has been around our entire existence. So, if you grow up with something always being there, you have no concept of what it's like when it's not there.
Exactly.
Okay? Now, back in the Old Testament, back in the day, not that I was there, but I read some stuff. You didn't have all of that. It was real simple.
Yep.
You got these rules. You break these rules, take them to the end of town and throw some rocks at them. You know? And not just to hurt them, but to kill them. But see, God was very much in charge of that because he knows that if you let a little bit of bad get in, that little bit, grow and grow and grow. So rather than try to kill a whole bunch of people, what ultimately he ended up having to do, he killed a bunch of little people, so to speak. But it was important because back then they didn't really have grace. They had the law. Now, when Christ came, he gave us the opportunity to make it into heaven, right?
Yeah.
Because in the beginning, when Adam was first here, he had that ability. Now, through his sin, which we all so luckily inherited, it banishes from that unless we take certain steps, right? So, I'm sorry. So, when Christ came out and he died on the cross for us, it was as if he was making a road way for us to get to God, right? To get to heaven.
Right.
Now, they could have still made it to heaven of sorts in the Old Testament by paying all of the laws, right? The problem was, it was kind of like back in the day when we actually had to use road maps to get from this point to that point. And when you get the map, listen, some of y'all don't remember this because some of y'all are young. But we used to get maps, and they come in a little folded pieces of paper, right? And it's real pretty and neat when you get it. But then you open it up, you gotta turn it and do all of this stuff, try to figure out what's what. Then you try to close it up and never get there.
Right.
Then you get lost and you don't have no idea. That kind of improved that a little bit with Thomas Scott. Now you didn't have to fold everything, but you had to still search for stuff, right? So it was possible, but it was difficult.
Right.
Now, when Jesus came and he did his thing for us, when he died on the cross, I'm not trying to make light of this.
Right.
Okay? It was like, now we're in the 21st century with GPS on our phones. And now we have an easy way to get to our destination.
Right.
Because even when we screw up now, it doesn't say, look, we're done, go the other way. I told you that already. It says, recalculate. We're going to help you find a different way because you screwed up the first one.
Right.
Okay? And that's what Jesus did for us. He made it easier for us to get there.
Yeah.
And through grace, we get to recalculate
Yeah.
a lot.
Yeah.
Now, it's important to know that, like I said, it's a temporary thing, though. And people don't grasp that. I've said to numerous people throughout the congregation when I hold conversations with them, you have a finite amount of time. That means you have a certain amount of time. Now, everybody's time might be different, but it's It's still the same basic principle. From the time you decide to accept Christ, which most of us, if we didn't come up in the church, we do it out of fear, right? The fear of burning in hell, the fear of not pleasing someone else, for whatever reason. But in most cases, it's a fear-driven reason. From that point, your clock starts ticking. Because you have a certain amount of time to find love. You got to find the love for Christ. Because what happens is, no matter how many times you face the same bully in life, you might be scared when you first see the dude standing 6'4". When you first look at him, he can be an intimidating individual. Yeah. I'm sorry, Pastor Armstrong. I don't know if you're too familiar, right? But he can be a real intimidating individual. Now, I've been around him for over a decade now. I'm grateful that he's in our life and we're friends. He's still a big guy. Yeah. But he's not so intimidating to me now. That's not to say that he couldn't probably wipe up the church with me. I'm a small guy. But I'm not as afraid of him anymore. Right. You know, at some point, whatever fear you have, you're gonna not be so much afraid of it. Yeah. At one point, everybody was kind of afraid of the dark. Right. But when we used to seeing the sun go down and light bulbs go out, time to go to sleep, not afraid of the dark anymore, right? Right. So if you don't find the love for Christ before that fear runs out, you're going to be stuck in a real bad spot. Because you can still find Christ and appreciate Christ, but if you don't have that love driving you to want to do right, to want to make it to heaven, to want to live for God, then what you'll have is a confused mind, because you'll know what's right, but you'll want to do what's bad. Not necessarily what's bad, but what's more fun. Right. What your flesh might want to do, which 9 times out of 10 is kind of bad. And it's not what God wants for us. You know, you can't serve 2 masters. No. You can only serve one at a time. Now, when I decided to give this message, like I said before, I asked to do it because it was something that I wanted to try to fake myself out with, right? Let myself know that it's not just about what I want to do something for God. So. Yeah. Now, I'll say this. I got the message titled from Pastor Nicole Davis, because I requested it. But I was the one trying to drive the message, so to speak, right? It was, Marcus wants to do this, not to prove to y'all that I'm like a sanctified individual, because Lord knows I got some work on some issues. But I'm okay, because I know that I'm better today. Amen. I want to be yesterday. And through God's grace, provided it doesn't run out, I'll be better tomorrow than I am today. Amen. Now, I'm particularly grateful for grace because I've been shown incredible favor. I have a beautiful wife, several beautiful children, some of which I like at times more than others. Okay. Another work I gotta work on. If you're a parent, you'll understand why. I faced many things that should have killed me by my own choices. Then I faced some stuff that I didn't ask for, but I still got it. And what I'm talking about in specific is cancer. Right. I was diagnosed stage 4. At the time, I was stupid. Oh, let me rephrase, I wasn't stupid. I was